Interest rates are rising, the cost of living is out of control, and my fiance and I are planning on getting married next year, so we need to start getting serious about our finances. I've always been pretty money savvy, and honestly, when we were renting and saving for our house, we were actually in a better position than we are now savings-wise, despite the fact that I've had a pretty significant income increase over the last year. My partner and I are double income with no kids, and we have a combined income of roughly $180,000, and as it stands, we should be able to save roughly $1,800 a month if all goes well and we're not silly with our money, which isn't a lot considering our goals. We don't plan on having an extravagant wedding. We're hoping to spend $15,000 in total, which means we would have to save every single penny that we have. So let's make this our starting point and get into where our money is going, starting off with bills, which is where most of our money goes. The biggest one, our mortgage, we pay $3,404 a month off of our mortgage, which is roughly $2,200 more than we were when we were renting, which is insane when you consider more than $2,200 of that goes to paying interest on our loan, which is scary. Electricity is next. When we first moved in, we were in a financial position to have solar and a battery installed. I'll probably do a separate video on this because there are so many schemes through the government and certain providers that make it easier to access. And it's definitely worth the investment if you own your own home. But on average, we pay $54.17 a month on electricity for additional power that we purchase. I love the heater and the aircon, so this could definitely be lower, but I personally think life is too short to be cold in your own home, but that's just me. Part of the schemes that we joined when we got solar was an interest-free loan from the government, so we pay $29.17 a month off of this as well. Moving on to water, I was so shocked to learn that you need to pay water rates on top of your land rates. So our water bill has actually doubled after moving out of the rental because the landlords actually pay these fees. Something to note if and when you're in the process of buying your own home. Onto internet, Josh really wanted super fast internet, so we went with Superloop, and that costs $110 a month. I personally can't tell the difference, but Josh plays games on his computer and is constantly downloading, and so that's something that we splurge on. Rego, so we have two cars. Our combined rego costs are $156.77 a month. And while we're on the topic of cars, we both own our cars outright. Josh has kept his first ever car and will probably run that thing into the ground like I did with mine. When my Cherry died, I needed a car ASAP, and I didn't get anything fancy, but I did want something with a bit of warranty on it and for some peace of mind, so we both have very humble cars. This means that our car insurance is a combined $195.70 a month. They are through Amy and Oceana Insurance. Our house insurance is $110 a month. This seems pretty low considering our broker told us that it would be around $300 a month. So I think I need to look into this and make sure all of that is correct. Of course, we have to pay land rates, and they are $206.01 a month. And those are all of our bills, so they come to a total of $4,588.98 a month, which is 41.9% of our monthly income. We originally were paying for gas when we moved in, but since then we disconnected our gas because I learned that you also had to pay a connection fee on top of what you use, and we only had gas for our hot water, so it made sense to get our water heater swapped to electric along with the solar installation. So we also have ducted heating, but we don't use that either because it's also gas and was going to cost around $40,000 to change, which is so insane, and we don't have that money, so we just use our split system, which we also upgraded, so it's a lot more energy efficient. So those are all of our bills, but of course the expenses don't end there. We allow ourselves $100 a week each, which is $800 a month combined to spend on whatever we want. Each transaction from our Superbux accounts aren't tracked in our budget. We have different interests and want our own flexibility with how we spend that money. So for example, if I wanted to have a Quinn subscription, that is none of my fiance's business. Just like him spending money on junk food at work instead of meal prepping is none of mine. This money is also used if we wanted to go out for lunch or drinks with friends, if we wanted new clothes or makeup, etc. So you can imagine this money doesn't last very long. Quinn, if you want to sponsor me, you know where to find me, okay? I need more play money. In my opinion, we spend way too much on food. So on average, we spend $866.67 a month on groceries and $204 on eating out together, which isn't from our Superbux, and $463 on takeaway that we have together at home. On average, between our two cars, we spend $390 on fuel a month. This is about to get a little bit better because Josh just moved branches at work and is 20 minutes closer to home. So I'm hoping to see that come down a little bit. Moving on to parking/transportation. When I was working in the city 2 days a week, I was paying for public transport, but now I work 20 minutes from home, which is a dream. But I was spending $66 a month on public transport, parking, tolls, etc. Josh is a Nepo baby and his parents still pay for his tolls. Personally, I can't relate, but that's nice. Entertainment, we spend an average of $123.80 a month, and this is on things like going to the movies, if we're going out, having drinks with friends, or a bottle of wine or drinking together. Those things aren't included in our Superbux, and we spend an average of $214 a month on entertainment. Moving on to health and medical, I go to the doctor all the time. I love my doctor. I have ADHD, celiac disease, recurring UTIs, the list goes on, and it's probably TMI, but if you haven't met me before, you wouldn't know that I tend to overshare. Considering here I am exposing myself on the internet about what I earn and where I spend my money, so like, what do you expect? On average, we spend $414 a month on health and medical expenses, which is crazy high. I think over the last 4 months, this is an average of the last 4 months, we've had a lot of scans and like additional stuff. So that is not typical, and at the moment is pretty high. Pets. I love our two cats so much, Asher and Twiggy. Asher is an old gal. She requires some vet visits and medication, but I'll do a separate video on that because she's a sick little queen and we love her. So our pets cost on average $209 a month. Shopping, this is mostly things that we get off of Amazon because so far I've been too lazy to break up the payments and categorize them correctly, which I think will change. So this is where cat litter falls into, things that we need for the house, etc. If I'm buying something for myself off of Amazon, I'll use my Superbux account, so that doesn't quite count. Subscriptions, so on top of all of that, we have a few subscriptions which come to $112 a month combined. This includes things like Apple Care, Linktree, Binge, Streamio, Spotify, etc. So a few streaming services in there. Travel is a tricky one. I have family and friends in Queensland, so I go up to see them probably twice a year. I wish it could be more, but that is expensive, especially when Josh comes with me. But on average, we have spent $255 a month on travel. We also have a few miscellaneous spendings. So we have a miscellaneous category for expenses that don't fit neatly into anywhere else. And on average, that comes to $354.31 a month. I probably need to go in and categorize them a little bit better. So I'll get better at that as well. But definitely something that I want to get on top of. So after all of that, we are left with almost $1,300 a month to save, which is not a lot considering our goals, which is why we're starting this journey together. So if you have any ideas on how/where we can save money or make money, please let me know. I know there is plenty of room for improvement. I think the areas that need improvement are food and drinking. So that's something that we're going to be more mindful of over the next month, so we can start working towards saving more money, which gets us to our goals, because if you're saving money, you need to be working towards some goals, and we have a few. So we want to get married hopefully next year. Like I said, I think we'll need around 15,000. We were hoping for 10, but if I'm being realistic, it will probably blow over. And additionally, we would ideally like to be putting an additional $30,000 into our offset account. It's a big dream, a girl can dream, but if you don't have those goals and something to work towards, then you you probably won't get there. We would also like to increase our Superbux. $100 a week is not enough, but while we're at this stage in our lives, we're willing to tough it out. So if you're keen to follow along on the journey and see how we make this happen, I promise to be super transparent about what we make and where we spend it or save it. So please hit the subscribe button and ask any questions that you would like to know, and I'll do my best to respond to them in future videos. Thank you for watching.